we grow raisins in addition to peaches and nectarines. And he saw my name tag, and he made the connection with my dad, and he realized I was my dad's daughter. And so he asked me what I was doing with my life, like as if, you know, we were best friends, and that's okay. And I said to him, well, I'm really excited. I've been spending the last couple years farming with my dad. And at least he paused, and he kind of turned his head, and then he asked, well, what do you actually do? And I took that to mean that he at least paused, but he similarly couldn't imagine my body doing the physical labor of farming. So again, my feminist call, I imagined him as an amazing, blazing future feminist. And I said, well, sir, have you ever heard of a French plow? And he said no, and so I explained to him the work that I had been doing that day on this piece of equipment that is possibly the most difficult piece of equipment I've encountered on our farm, which is part of our organic farming methods, which uses mechanics of a plow to control and help combat some of the weeds that grow in places that are really hard for the farm workers to get to the grapes. So I used that space to open a door to hopefully change the next time he is introduced to a woman who's a farmer, to actually ask her a valuable question about what she does. And the last story I want to tell about introducing myself as a farmer didn't come in a verbal introduction. But I was, 2 summers ago, I was delivering some of our peaches to our wholesale packing shed where they pack our peaches into boxes. And I had our truck, and it was, you know, really hot, like 100 degrees, and I was taking the ropes off of our bins. And the forklift drivers are zipping by, and one comes over that I've never seen him before, and he's taking our big, huge bins off of the back of our truck, and he looks at me, and with a very curious tone, he says, you know, you're the first girl I've ever seen deliver. And while I wish he wouldn't have called me a girl because I'm 29 and, you know, I think I'm far past that category, I took him at his tone. His tone was one of genuine curiosity. I genuinely believe he wasn't trying to be insulting. And when he said that, I looked up at him and I said, yes, but I know I won't be the last. And then he nodded at me. If you are part of working people's culture, you know something about the sweat nod. He nodded at me and smiled, and we both went on with our business. And I think maybe that moment, I actually helped birth a future feminist. So this is all to say, gender and women's studies was actually the perfect major to prepare me for a life of farming. And just a little bit of a global context, I wanted to share these stories not because they're just about me, but because this is a fundamental challenge for our food system. Generally speaking, the United States Department of Agriculture predicts that in the next decade, in the next 10 years, half of all farmers in the United States will retire. Half, okay? At the same time, the USDA defines beginning farmers as anyone who has farmed for less than 10 years, which I think is actually fairly accurate. It's about a 10-year learning curve. Okay, so we have this. I've also, from every statistic I've read from the agricultural census, which comes out every 5 years, while we have this amazing popular consciousness about food and farming and its essential role in our world and in our country and in our neighborhoods, beginning farmers are not entering the business, the field, nearly at a replacement rate. We're not even close. And actually, between the agricultural census of 2007 and 2012, the number of farmers who are called very beginning farmers, who have farmed for less than 5 years, this is me, this is my peers, the percentage fell from 2007 to 2012. So, not only do we need more beginning farmers, we absolutely, essentially need the next generation of farmers to be a feminist generation, because we will not survive without it. Now, I want to turn everyone's attention to my dad, who's going to give an amazing talk. I am so blessed to live and work next to this man. Give him a round of applause.
Nikiko wrote an essay about being a feminist farmer, and then she turned to me and says, "Dad, are you a feminist farmer?" All right, we're going to continue with this. I believe in the power of story to change the world and change the meaning of the foods we eat. Stories frame how we think, they motivate us, and they help us remember. And as a writer, one of the tricks is you, instead of telling, you want to show that. So we're going to show a very short clip from a documentary film that was made about our farm that is currently, is premiering this Friday, actually, at the Oakland Museum. And then it's going to be at the LA Asian Pacific American Film Festival later in April. It's set to air on